श्रीमद सदगुरु सरकार की जय। श्रीमद युगल सरकार की जय। आराधनानां सर्वेषां विष्णोराराधनं परम् तस्मात् परतरं देवि तदीयानां समर्चनम् वन्दे नवघनश्यामं पीतकौशेयवाससं सानन्दं सुन्दरं शुद्धं श्री कृष्णं प्रकृतेः परम् नमः कमलना भाय नमः कमल मालिने नमः कमल पादाय नमस्ते कमलेक्षण यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तग्वंह देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। Inquisitive souls, now we begin tonight's Q&A session. So please raise your hand. If you have a question, a mic will come to you.
Gita said, knowledge leads to self-realization. I read Gita, but I do not get self-realization. Why is that?
Self-realization cannot be attained by simply reading the Gita. If it were possible, then we would all be self-realized. It's by understanding the message of the Gita that we attain not only self-realization, but God realization. So the Gita, the message of the Gita, we cannot understand with our intellect. Our mind cannot understand the message of the Gita because these are divine words of divine personality. God is speaking. So in order to understand the Gita, we need to learn it, learn the message from a guru, qualified guru. Then we need to practice devotion. And by practicing devotion, by surrendering to God, because knowledge leads to faith, faith leads to love. So when the disciple learns what the message of the Gita is from the qualified guru, from a bona fide guru, then he has faith in Shri Krishna. And then immediately after that, he becomes a true devotee of Shri Krishna. I'm not finished. So then he attains not only self-realization, because self-realization is knowledge of the self, knowledge of the soul, which is a very, very high knowledge, great knowledge, but it is not God realization. So not only can one attain self-realization through the Gita, one can attain God realization, which is our aim, which is the aim of life. So it's not by simply reading the Gita that we become self-realized.
But the Gita I read is explained by the succession of gurus.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
The Gita I read is explained by the guru.
Yes.
succession from the Krishna. So my question right now is, when I do the Gita right, I don't get the jnana. Does it mean that because jnana leads to self-realization, I do the Gita, get the jnana, did not go to self-realization. Therefore, when I do the Gita, I don't get the jnana. And what is jnana now?
That self-realization you speak of, it is not just by reading that one gets self-realization. Self-realization is when you are walking on the path of knowledge, the path of jnana, and you are doing a sadhana. You are actually practicing, you're meditating on Brahma, on God without name and form. And over lifetimes, you come to a point where you attain self-realization. That is very difficult to get. All that we can do is to understand what is in the Gita, to gain the knowledge of the Gita. Not dry knowledge, knowledge that we then put into daily practice. It's by practicing devotion to Shri Krishna. The whole message of the Bhagavad Gita is, Shri Krishna is saying, surrender to me. In other words, keep me in your mind, have me in your heart all the time, even as you perform worldly actions. That is the philosophy of Karma Yoga. So it's not by reading the Gita, not that knowledge. I read the Gita, I got the knowledge. It's not that knowledge. That knowledge leads to pride. So first of all, we need to understand the true gist of the Gita from the Guru. Then we practice, we put into practice what Shri Krishna is saying in the Gita. Then we attain God realization. If somebody wants to attain self-realization only, they can do that too, but it's not what you think it is. It's not that we read the Gita and we get self-realization. It's much more difficult than that. Welcome.
Radhe Radhe. I was visiting Bap's temple, Swaminarayan temple once, and I read a note there saying Shri Vishnu is avatar, Sri Krishna is avatar of Shri Vishnu. And here in Yugal Kunj we practice that there are Anantakoti Brahmanda, and each Brahmanda has Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, and Lord Shri Krishna is the ultimate authority. So is it just the difference in philosophies or something else? People follow different things?
Most of people, I think lots of people think that Mahavishnu is the ultimate. Now, and there is, I believe it's in Brahma Samhita, that the Brahma Samhita says, Vishnur Mahansa ihayasya kala vishesho Govindamadi Purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship Govind, Shri Krishna, whose partial manifestation is Mahavishnu. So Mahavishnu is a partial manifestation of Shri Krishna. It's in the understanding. And you can understand when Jagadguru Tam Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj has explained it, then he comes with the authority of being the highest authority of the scripture, on the scriptures. And so Shri Maharaji has brought that out, that Shri Krishna is the ultimate, and then he has his avatar. He's not the avatar, he's the avatari.
Radhe Radhe Didi Ji.
Radhe.
A question on the relationship between Shri Krishna and Shankar Ji. Different TV programs show it differently, and I've seen them both referring to each other as Aradhya. So if you could shed some more light on that.
Certainly. As you know very well, there's only one God. Eko Devaha Sarvabhuteshu Gudha, say the Vedas. So that one God takes on different forms. Now, Shankar Bhagwan and Shri Krishna are really one. Now, there's a distinction between Shiv and Mahashiv. Now, there are uncountable universes in existence. Devi Bhagavad Puran says, you may succeed in counting the grains of sand on this earth, which is impossible. But you can never count the number of universes that exist in this marvelous creation, because they are uncountable, unlimited. So each Brahmand has one Brahma, one Vishnu, one Shiv. So in this way there are countless Shiv, countless Brahmas, countless Vishnu. But then there are countless Shiv, then there's one Mahashiv. So I'm sure you have heard that we are celebrating Mahashivratri. बोलते हैं ना महाशिवरात्रि, क्योंकि एक महाशिव है, वो सभी शिव अनंत शिव हैं लेकिन एक महाशिव है, जैसे अनंत विष्णु हैं लेकिन एक महाविष्णु है. So that we're talking about Mahashiv then, the supreme. The only difference is, and it's a very big difference, is that Bhagwan Shiv does not come down to earth and does not perform the leelas, sweet leelas. He does not perform earthly pastimes. Shri Krishna does. So it is much, much easier to love Shri Krishna than it is to love Bhagwan Shiv. Although both are one, yet it is very difficult. I will tell you about a husband and wife, a couple, and when they heard my lectures in some part of the US, they said, well, one of them was a Shiv devotee, the other is a Ram devotee, and they said, and Didi Ji, you come in the middle and you're chanting Radhe Radhe now, we are very confused, we are very attracted. And so they wanted to know, what will happen if we practice devotion to Shivji? And Maharaji was here on earth, very thankfully. And so I said, you know what, I told them something. I said, let's hear it from Shri Maharaji himself. And Maharaji said, you will attain liberation by practicing devotion to Shankar Bhagwan, but you will not taste the nectar, the sweetness, the ultimate bliss, because the leelas are not there. Bhagwan Shankar leela nahi karte, पृथ्वी पे नहीं आते, आप कभी सुना नहीं है कि उनके माँ बाप हैं. भगवान श्री कृष्ण वो तो सबके माता पिता हैं, फिर भी वो देवकी नंदन कहलाते हैं, वासुदेव कहलाते हैं, यशोदा नंदन, नंद नंदन कहलाते हैं. तो उनकी लीलाएं इतनी सारी हैं कि हम उनसे प्यार करने लगते हैं. So now there are people who say no, Bhagwan Shankar is not God, and they are wrong also. But if someone says it's the same thing, whether you practice devotion to Bhagwan Shiv or Bhagwan Krishna, the end result is the same, they're also wrong. It's one God, but as you know, one God has three aspects, Brahma, Paramatma and Bhagwan. Now, although it's the same God, but when we try to meditate on Brahma, we have no idea what to meditate on because there's no name, no form, no attributes, no virtues, nothing. And Paramatma, the Mahavishnu aspect of God. So, and then the Bhagwan Shri Ram, Bhagwan Shri Krishna, although it's one God, but the three aspects make it very different. It's very different. There's a different nectar in worshipping Bhagwan, because Bhagwan comes down to earth. So Shri Krishna descends to earth, Shankar Bhagwan does not. So, and yet, yes, you will see that Bhagwan Ram is worshipping Shankar Bhagwan is worshipping Bhagwan Shri Ram, vice versa. Shri Krishna is saying, oh, Shankar is my everything, Shankar's Bhagwan is saying the same, because it's God talking about God. That's what it is. But from the devotion point of view, if you wish to drink the nectar, the sweetness, the bliss, then you have to go to Shri Krishna's form of Shri Krishna. Over here, Pratham has a question.
How do you attain God realized?
How do you attain God realization? You attain God realization by loving God, by loving Shri Krishna, by listening and obeying a guru. In our case, it's Jagat Guru Uttam Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj. Listening to his teachings and following them every single day, living by the principles of devotion, like living a devotional life. Because oftentimes we think that devotion is done once a week on a Sunday in the mandir, right? But no. Being in devotion all the time, and that's how you attain God realization. Then Shri Krishna will say, oh my goodness, this one loves me so much, I have to go to him. Then he'll say, come to my kingdom. Do you know what that kingdom is called? Shri Krishna's kingdom? Which lok is that? Not come, but
Golok?
Golok. Golok, yes. Divine Vrindavan, yes. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Also, why can't we see Sri Krishna?
Well, good question. Why can't we see him? So it's like we have these glasses on, although you say I'm not wearing glasses, but it's like all of us, we have the glasses of Maya on. So even if Lord Krishna comes here, we will not be able to recognize him as Krishna because we are controlled by one of the powers of God called Maya. And so it's like we have glasses of Maya on. And it's like, when you wear pink color glasses, everything will look pink. If you're wearing blue color glasses, everything looks like blue. So when we have the Maya glasses on, then everybody looks like an ordinary person. So we even if we see him, we cannot recognize him. We have seen him. We've seen Sri Krishna, but we never recognized him. We've seen Bhagwan Sri Ram. We've seen God on earth, not once or twice, but time and time again. But we didn't recognize him because we thought he's just a boy from the neighborhood. He's just an ordinary person. We didn't pay attention. So we don't see his divine form. For that, who can see his divine form? The person who is very, very much in love with God. He can see, oh no, this is not an ordinary boy. This is not some mischievous boy. He is God himself. So in order to see God, we have to love God. So by loving him, we can actually, when we see him, we can recognize him. Shri Krishna says in the Gita, Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. O Arjun, when I descend to the world, people of the world fail to recognize me. So we are very worldly. Our mind is filled with worldly thoughts. But when we take our worldly thoughts and we convert them into devotional thoughts, when we start thinking about Sri Krishna more and more, and less about the world, what's he doing, what's going on in the neighborhood, a lot of unnecessary thoughts come in the mind. When those are replaced by really pure thoughts of Sri Krishna, I would love to feed him with my own hands. I wonder what he looks like. I want to see him. And when we shed tears for him, then his heart melts and he comes. Then we can see him and recognize him to be who he is. Okay?
Didi Ji, quick question.
Yes.
So what is Hinduism's view on other religions, like Christianity, Buddhism?
Hinduism, which is more properly known as Sanatan, Vedic Dharma, the eternal religion, Dharma of the Vedas, it is one religion that respects every other religion. Because Hinduism is very deep. It's extremely deep. It has depth. So Hinduism says there are many ways of getting to God. There's like there are many rivers, but they all lead to the ocean. In the same way, there are many paths leading to the same God. And there is one God, and you may call that one God Allah, and I call him Bhagwan. You call him God, I call him Krishna. You call him Ahur Mazd, and I call him Ram. I call him Ishwar, Brahma, Paramatma. So, but we're all talking about the same entity, the same supreme soul. So Hinduism respects all paths, all other paths. And all the other paths have been inspired by Hinduism. It's an eternal religion because the Vedas are eternal. There was never a time when the Vedas did not exist. So Hinduism, based totally on the Vedas, is an eternal path. Because it's eternal, it doesn't have anything, there's nothing superficial about it. It's very, very deep. And so when you are very deep, there's a great knowledge, you have great knowledge. So the knowledge that is in Hinduism says, you can call God by different names, but you're all praying to the same personality. However, it must be said that because it is an eternal path, eternal religion, it tells us it gives us the most amount of knowledge about God. Most amount. It gives a clear picture of God. So,
Thank you, Didi.
you're welcome.
Namaste, Didi Ji.
Radhe.
Radhe, Radhe. I have one question about how we constantly remember the value of human birth and how we could apply it to realize the value in our life.
How do we constantly remember the value of human life and
How we realize or apply that, apply our devotion to realize the value.
to realize the value of anything, we have to think about it again and again. By thinking again and again, this gift that I have been given by God, it's called the greatest gift that God can give. So I have received the greatest gift from God. And if I think about it again and again, if I think about it daily, then it hits home. Yes, oh my goodness, what a gift I have been given. If we never think about it, and we don't do anything about it, we don't value them, we cannot value it. That's when that's when we talk about, oh, I have so much time, let me kill some time, let me go to the movies, let me play cards, let me just go to sleep, I need to kill some time, right? And because then we don't realize how precious time is. This human form of life is the most precious, it is the rarest. Durlabham manusham janma prarthyate tridashairapi. So the Purans, for instance, say that the human form of life is rare, the rarest. It is very easy to get the body of an animal, an insect, bird, plant, etc., but it's very difficult to get the human form of life. And the Upanishads say, if iha cheda vedi datha satyam asti na chediha vedin mahati vinashtihi. O humans, if you don't practice devotion to God, if you don't realize the value of this life, if you don't take advantage of this human form of life, then you will harm yourselves greatly. We ask, what kind of harm? And they say, iha chedashakat bodhum praak sharirasya visrasah tatah sargeshu lokeshu sharirattvaya kalpate. If you don't realize God, if you don't do anything to gain the knowledge of God while you're given the chance as a human, because it's only in the human form of life that you can learn about God and you can understand anything about God and that you can actually realize God. But if you've made no attempt to do so, then, oh humans, be careful. Know that for many, many kalp, you will be born in the lower forms of life. And one kalp, it's a measurement of time, and it is 4,294,080,000 years. One kalp. So for many, many kalp, sargeshu, so for many, many kalp, you'll be demoted, you'll be born as an insect, a bird, animal, and so forth, tree, plant. So how do we realize the value? By thinking about it again and again. And and how can we just think about it? We need to listen to lectures. We need to listen to teachings. Avritti rasakridupadeshat. Brahma Sutra says, listen to Upadesh, listen to divine teachings again and again. So when we listen to the teachings of a saint, a guru, then the guru makes us aware. Think about what you have been given. This is not a trifle gift. It is the most precious gift. What are you doing with it? The guru awakens the sleeping soul. And so then we start thinking, indeed, I have been made aware that I have this gift. So the guru, the concept of the guru is very important, essential. You can't do without a guru. Because by ourselves, we're not even capable of understanding anything about God and purpose of life. But when the guru enters our life and we decide to accept him as a guru, that he is an authority and he knows infinitely more than I do, when we become humble enough, then we learn from the Guru and we learn about the value of life. And then we think about it again and again. Shri Maharaji, Jagat Guru Uttam Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj used to say, think about it every day, what you have been given. And if you realize, if you truly realize what you have been given, you'll go mad with happiness. Shri Maharaj ji कहा करते थे कि अगर तुम अकेले में एकांत में सोचो कि तुम्हें क्या मिला है, ये मानव देह कितना दुर्लभ है और कितने कम मनुष्य हैं, और दूसरी तो और इतने सारे अलग अलग जीव हैं, पशु पक्षी कीट पतंग पेड़ पौधे इत्यादि, तो अगर सोचोगे कि मुझे क्या मिल गया है तो तुम खुशी से पागल हो जाओगे. So how do we realize the value? Through the Guru, by listening, by submitting ourselves humbly to the Guru, learning from him, and then putting those teachings into practice and thinking again and again, I am so fortunate I have this human form of life. But also this human body that has been given to me, it is the most precious, and yet it has a great disadvantage also, because it may be snatched away any moment. So I cannot procrastinate. I cannot afford to procrastinate. I must do whatever I need to do right now. We cannot do it, cannot leave it for tomorrow. काल करे सो आज करे सो अब, पल में परले होएगी फेरी करेगो कब. When will you do it? Whatever you plan to do tomorrow, do it today. What you plan to do today, do it right now. Because it takes a moment for death to come. And then when will you do it? Once death is here. Did I answer the question?
Yes. So you told it exactly what I actually wanted to meditate on. Basically, the value of human life, that I need to realize more and more, and then I could practice.
Did you have another question?
No, that's
okay. Next, please. Over here.
Why I cannot get a reliable connection to Lord Krishna? I only get connection to Lord Krishna occasionally.
And when you say occasional connection, what does that mean?
Means sometimes I feel his existence, and then he sort of transmit some knowledge to me very occasionally. But I would like to get a connection reliably, but I cannot. What did I do wrong?
What you need to do is to practice devotion, to just love him. What you need to do is to do devotion to him. And you need to visualize him, you need to think about him. You need to do what is called Roop Dhyan. My Gurudev, my spiritual master, Jagat Guru Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj, calls it Roop Dhyan. Roop means form, Dhyan means meditation. So in your mind, in your imagination, think about Shri Krishna and think that he is walking, he's talking, his eyelids are closing and opening, and interact with him in your imagination. And beg him, I want to see you, I want to hear you, I want to feed you with my own hands, I want to serve you directly, and then one day he will come to you. So first you have to imagine him.
Thank you very much. Talk about imagining him, right? The other question comes, right? How realistic is Lord Krishna, this statue?
Yes.
Is it very close to real, or it's just imagination, or how realistic this statue about Lord Krishna?
How does?
How realistic?
Distinguish?
No, realistic.
Realistic, I see, sorry.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
Realistic, yes. Well, yeah, this murti or statue, idol, it's an imagination of an artist. So some artist has used his imagination, his or her imagination, and they have made this murti, this statue, right?
I don't know.
No, I'm telling you, yes, I mean, right, meaning, okay? Yes. But what you have to do is to think that Shri Krishna is in that murti, in that statue. Because right now, you and I, we don't know what Krishna looks like. Even the one who made this murti doesn't know what Krishna looks like. We will only see him when we attain him, when we are pure of heart, then we will see him. But use this as a base, as a foundation. Using this, create a mental image of Krishna in your mind, but your sentiments towards that Krishna in your mind should be, he is divine, he's my Lord, he's my beloved, he's my one and only. And one day, Shri Krishna will actually come and stand before you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Radhe Radhe again. The Maya that we are all under the influence of in this Kali Yuga, was this Maya there in all the previous Satya Yuga, Dwapar, Treta, or it wasn't there? And was it there? And then was it really powerful as if it is right now? Or like, was it very easy for the people in those days to attain God realization, go to Golok, liberation, any of those things? I mean, I'm just trying to get a feel like the life was more easier in those three as compared to Kali Yuga and influence of Maya.
First of all, Maya is eternal, so Maya has always existed. Because there are three personalities that have always existed. One is Brahma, one is Jeev, one is Maya. So God, the individual soul, we have always existed, meaning the soul has always existed. And Maya is the third personality. It has always existed. So it was there in Satyug, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and now it is here in Kali Yuga. But I do understand what you're saying. People of Satyug, they are more pure of heart. So it is easier for them to resist Maya, to stay away from the ill effects of Maya. And for people of Treta, it is not as easy as it is for people of Satyug, but it's still easier than it is right now, much easier. And people of Dwapar, it's still easier. And for us now, the Kali Yuga is the worst of all the four ages. This is when the mind is very, very worldly, and even if we are in a very pure environment, our mind is very capable of thinking very, very worldly thoughts. So we're living in these times. So yes, people of Satyug, it was easier for them to do sadhana. For people of Treta, it was not as easy, but it was easier. For people of Dwapar Yuga, it was still much easier than it is for us. But the method for us is the easiest. Kali Jug keval naam adhara, sumiri sumiri nar utarahi para. Ehi kali kal na sadhan duja, jog na jap tap vrat makh puja. Hare namaiva 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 mam jivanam kalau nastyeva 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 gatiranyatha. So the Purans, earlier the Ramayana and now the Purans that I've quoted from, they say that in Kali Yuga, the method of reaching God is by chanting the holy name. By chanting the name of God, the glory of God, the leelas, the pastimes of God, with love, of course. And for the other Yuga, it was much more difficult. We have been given, this is the worst of the four ages, Yuga, but we have been given the easiest sadhana. So great compensation God has given to us. There's a question there.
With what I've been kind of noticing with like the four...
Can you keep the mic close to your mouth?
What I've been noticing with like the four yugas is that each one, our mind gets more worldly. So like eventually, maybe like a million years or so, if Earth doesn't like explode by then, will it like be impossible? Like will it ever be impossible to actually like try to do God realization because our mind will be so worldly?
Right, so the best thing to do is to get it done now. You know, Maharaji used to say, "Pehle Bhagavad Prapti kar lo, fir aur kaam karte rehna." First attain God, then you can do other things. What a great advice. Because the mind, yes, it will get worse and worse. We think things are really bad right now, it'll get worse. Because Kali Yuga, do you know how many years Kali Yuga lasts?
How many?
It starts with a 4. Does anybody know? Yes? 432,000. 432. 432. 432,000, yes.
So how many years are left?
427,000. We have just, Kali Yuga is just a little over 5,000 years old. So, we are just, Kali Yuga is still like baby right now. And it will get harder, but there will be people who will have very pure hearts, even while living in Kali Yuga, because they're doing devotion. They're being guided by a guru. So they are actively working on becoming pure-hearted. They're actually doing devotion, sincere devotion. So, but the danger is there. It's just getting worse and worse. But there will always be a chance to do God, to attain God, always. It's just gonna be tougher.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe.
So, did Maharaji mention any time that when will he take avatar again?
There's not a question of it. You see, a saint doesn't declare himself to be a saint. Maharaji never said he was a guru, he's a saint. If someone says that, it's clear that they're not a saint. He had never admitted it, not in front of public, not in his room, in private, never, ever. That's not the nature of a saint. He was the very picture of humility. So there was a little boy who wrote to Maharaji from Canada, Maharaji, you're God, and very praised Maharaji very highly. Maharaji used to write letters. And Maharaji wrote back, my dear son, मेरे प्यारे बेटे, मैं तो तुम्हारी तरह हूँ, लेकिन यदि तुम्हें मेरे से कुछ लाभ मिलता है, तो मैं इसके लिए बहुत आभारी हूँ. Maharaji wrote to a little 10-year-old boy that I am the same as you. I am not God. I'm not nothing like that. I'm the same as you, but if I can help you in your devotion, then I feel very, very grateful for that. So, डूबे सो बोले नहीं, बोले सो अनजान. One who is submerged in the nectar of love of Krishna, how can he speak? And one who speaks, like, I attained God realization last Thanksgiving. And I've met people like that, not too many. But I attained God realization. And that's a false prophet. That's not a genuine saint. A genuine saint does not ever declare himself, but you will know that he's a saint. You'll know that he is genuine because you are seeking. And a seeking heart always recognizes a true messenger of God. If you're seeking, you will be so attracted. It's like the rose. I'm thinking of roses in India that actually have fragrance. The rose does not have to advertise that I'm a rose, I smell good. No, because we can inhale the fragrance of the rose. So we know that that's a rose. So we know that this is a saint because I am listening to him and he's clearing all my doubts. I'm receiving knowledge that I had been craving, and I know, that the heart will know. Swami Vivekananda was asked this question, how are we to know a guru then? He said, I'm not quoting him exactly, but he said when the sun rises in the sky, you don't have to be told. You know instinctively that the sun has risen. So if a teacher, a divine teacher comes in our midst, the seeker, the true seeker will know that it's a guru, and he will hold on to him. He will hold on to the teachings. He will know when he listens that this is the truth. So the heart will recognize, but the saint will not say that he is a saint. It goes against everything he believes in. See, his philosophy is gopaniyam, gopaniyam, gopaniyam prayatnataha. love for God should be a secret within. तो भगवान से जो प्यार है वो छुपाना चाहिए. तो वो कैसे आउट कर दे कि मेरे अंदर ना भगवान का, मेरा रोम रोम भगवान को चाहता है, वो कह ही नहीं सकता. यदि कोई कहता भी है कि आप तो ऐसे हैं, आप तो वैसे हैं, वो कहेंगे अरे मैं तो कुछ भी नहीं हूँ, मैं तो तुम्हारी तरह हूँ. या महाराज जी इसको ना मजाक में उड़ा देते थे, और वो व्यक्ति जिसने कुछ कहा होता था वही सोचता था हाय मैंने क्यों बोल दिया ये. कहते महाराज जी आप तो संत हैं, जो भी है. तो महाराज जी कहते अरे ये संत है, इसने पहचान लिया, चलो इसके पैर पकड़ो, और सब लोगों से प्रणाम करवाते थे उसको. तो फिर वो कहता था कान पकड़े, अब कभी नहीं बोलेंगे. सो नो, सेंट डज नॉट से ही इज अ सेंट.
Okay, thank you, Didi Ji. And I have a second question.
Sure.
You have mentioned that for God or for Shri Krishna, there is no difference between body and soul.
Yes.
But yet he ended his avatar. So can you explain on that?
And I didn't understand the question. There is no difference between body and soul, but
Yeah, but yet he ended his avatar at some point 5,000 years ago.
Yes.
So
that's possible. Even though his body, when the deserving one looks at the body of Shyam Sundar, he sees unlimited beauty, and there's no difference between soul and body. But this is due to earthly pastimes. That yes, I've been shot by this hunter in the sole of my foot. Yes.
that story of,
So
path.
he has to use some sort of excuse to conclude his pastimes. That's all it was.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I want to ask, did Gopis, were they aware that Shri Krishna is around them and he's the true happiness?
Did they realize that Shri Krishna is?
The true happiness?
That he is true happiness? Oh yes. He would make them forget who he was, but they were instinctively love him because they were pure-hearted. So they loved him, and their only happiness came from him. So they realized it, yes, that he is their one and only. We still have some time. If you have any more questions, you may ask.
Radhe Radhe Didi.
Radhe.
I have a question. We know we have the glasses of Maya. Is there any easy way we can understand what is the correct or the true, how we can go to the true path or the correct path of the life?
Is there any way we can tell that we're going on the true path? Meaning the true path that we should all follow as humans? Is that what you mean?
I mean, is there any way we can understand easily that I should go, on what path should I go, which is the true path?
Right.
Because there is Maya, so we cannot understand what is the true path, correct path, what is the wrong path we are going.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And that's why, although we don't know what the correct path is, because we don't know the true path, we need an enlightened teacher, that is a guru, enlightened master, who will teach us, just like we learn acquire worldly knowledge. A child doesn't know how to count. A child doesn't know the alphabet, doesn't know ka, kha, ga or ABC. The child learns through a teacher. The child doesn't know what's right and wrong, so the child learns through parents. In the very same way, we do not know what the true path is, so we need a guru, a divine teacher. A teacher who teaches about God and the self and the mind, and then we get to know, okay, this is what I should do. What is my duty in life? What is my highest duty? So from the scriptures, he will extract the knowledge, and he teaches that knowledge to anyone who wants to learn it. That then we get to know, oh, this is what I must do. For instance, the scriptures say there is a path of karma dharma, there's a path of yoga, there's a path of gyan, there's a path of bhakti. Now I don't know which path I should take, right? I don't know, A, B, C, or D. So the guru, then we have to ask the guru. We have to listen to the guru. The guru says, now there is this path, there's this one, but this is the path that will take you all the way there. And he will give great amount of information about the path of karma dharma, the path of gyan, the path of yoga, and then path of bhakti. So that knowledge, he's qualified to give that knowledge. We are not qualified. We don't know. But the qualified teacher, the divine teacher knows. So that is why in Hinduism, the guru holds a place which is even higher than God. More man prabhu as vishwasa ram te adhik ram kardasa. The saint is even greater than God because he takes us to God. So he teaches about the true path and takes us he takes the seeker on the right path. So how do we know? We may make a mistake. We have made mistakes. So the guru is the one who makes no mistake because he is divine. So by submitting humbly to a guru, we find out from the guru what the true path is. By ourselves, we don't know. Yes.
Didi Ji, Radhe Radhe, most important that to find a right guru. So how do we understand that I am really got a privilege to find a true guru? So could you please tell me about that?
When you personally listened to Shri Maharaji's lectures many years ago, you couldn't stop listening to them. Am I right?
Yes.
You could not. You stayed up nights to listen to them. Am I right?
Yes.
There's your proof. First proof. Because you kept listening to those lectures because they gave you a lot of knowledge. Correct? So to find, how do you know you found a true guru? And that's the first thing you do. You listen to the teachings. The teachings are very deep, but they're easy to understand. So when you listen to the teachings of a saint, a guru, then you think, oh my goodness, I've had these questions all lifelong. And we can only conjecture that we've had them in previous lives too. And now the questions are answered. Now I'm absolutely clear. That's the first thing. Then you follow the teachings. And then you see the transformation from within, that you are changing. You are a better version of yourself. And your vices are getting weaker and your virtues are getting higher, are increasing. That's when you know that you have found, you found a true guru. Because the proof is in the pudding. So one should not be in a rush to call this one or that one a guru. A lot of people, they ask their friends or family members to recommend a guru. And I think that, guru cannot be recommended like a plumber or a dentist or a doctor. A guru is a guru. You have a very personal relationship with him. And everybody is so different. Even in one family, let's say there are 4 people. 4 people may not have the same guru. Maybe one is very attracted to that guru and the other ones are not seeking, let's say. So how can they all have the same guru? So the proof of a guru is, he gives a proof, we get the proof of his divinity over a period of time. We have to invest time. We must listen first. We must read his literature, listen, ask questions, get the questions answered, and then we must follow the teachings. And then we see the consequences, the wonderful fruits of that practice of devotion. Then we'll know, yes. God always lets you know if you're a true seeker. But you do find out for yourself. But what God does is that God makes it, God will make some sort of circumstance happen and you will end up listening to the Guru's teachings. And he said, how did I end up in this lecture? But I'm gaining a lot out of it. And then you go again and listen again and again and again. Then you find out. It happens over a period of time.
Didi, you actually told me that what I need to hear. But I am really, really fortunate to know Jagat Guru, Tam, Shri, Kripalu Ji, Maharaj. But in this yoga, there are so many gurus. So I'm just talking from perspective of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So you told that once you listen, then you realize more, and then you accept him as a guru. I think that is probably then accepting at the first hand to understand Guru and really feeling that inside our heart that yes, he is answering my all question. That's probably the right way to seek a right Guru, right?
To first what?
To understand that whatever is my question in my heart, he is answering,
Mm-hmm.
and then accept him as a Guru is the right approach. Then hearing from somebody, he is the right Guru.
Yes.
And accepting is not the right.
Accept that he is a guru. But then he's my guru, that comes later. Because quite frankly, in Kali Yuga, Shri Maharaji used to say, he used to laugh about it, that there are more gurus than disciples today. You know, every other person is a guru. You can advertise yourself as a guru. So just because you're advertised as a guru does not mean you've become a guru. So it takes time. We have to find out. Because you're going to give your soul. Maharaji used to say, अपनी लड़की की शादी करवाते हो तो वो माँ बाप कितने हिफाजत से कितने इंटरव्यू ले करके एक लड़के को देखा, नहीं ये पसंद नहीं है, उसके लायक नहीं है, ये भी ठीक नहीं है, कितने इंक्वायरीज करके फिर शादी करवाते हैं. और तुम अपनी आत्मा को दे रहे हो, अपने गुरु को, और तुम कुछ इंक्वायरी नहीं करोगे, बस ऐसे ही. इनके कितने चेले हैं, बहुत से चेले हैं, बहुत फेमस हैं ये, चलो इनको मान लो. वो व्यक्ति तो गुरु चाहता ही नहीं है. वो तो ऐसे कि जरा अच्छा रहता है, गुरु हो जाए अपने जीवन में तो अच्छा है. पर जो व्यक्ति चाहता है कि मुझे भगवान के बारे में वो बताएं, हम भगवान से मिलना चाहते हैं, और बहुत अनंत जीवन बीत गए, अभी भगवान के दर्शन नहीं किए, जो कि हमारे सर्वस्व हैं, उनको देखा नहीं, उनका स्पर्श नहीं मिला, और अब हमें गुरु चाहिए. और आंखों से आंसू बहाते हुए वो चाहता है कि कोई गुरु आ जाए, तो भगवान उसको गुरु भेज देंगे. चाहे वो व्यक्ति ग्रीनलैंड, आइसलैंड, किसी रिमोट जगह पे रहता हो, उसको गुरु मिल जाएंगे. भगवान देख लेंगे उसको कि हाँ, ये मिला देंगे. We have time for about a couple of more questions. All right, so we will conclude the question and answer session. बोलिए वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय. श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय. जय जय श्री राधे. जय जय श्री राधे. जय जय श्री